welcome to my happy learners. Neena Rahul Gupta here from Achievers Academy. Today I'm going to talk on effective writing and speaking. I'm going to share a few skills which are going to be very helpful if you follow them. So let's begin with an example. If you want to make a strong and a beautiful building, what do you need first? The first thing you need is a good and strong foundation. Then you can just make a design of a building, you can redesign the building what you are making. So same happens with the language. You need a strong foundation to have a good language skill. So what makes your language strong? What is the base and foundation of that language that makes it very effective? So there are 5 things. Yes, you can just remember on your fingertips. Grammar, ideas, vocabulary, presentation, and the coherence. If you just remember these things and keep working on them one by one, it is actually going to improve you. If you feel that you can just improve on your language in a week or 1 month's time, it's not possible. It's going to take a bit more time. See, we have been working on our English language skills since our childhood. And even in your native language, there may be so many new words you discover every day. So the same thing happens in English. So we are coming across new words, new ways of communication, new expressions, and once we start using them every day, we become habitual of it. Now, let's talk about the first thing that I said, grammar. When it comes to grammar, most of Punjabi students, they think of tenses only. Tense, and that gives them tension. Believe me, grammar is not just about tenses. When we think of tenses, like how many times do I learn tenses? I learned that in 8th standard, in 10th, maybe in your graduation also. Still we are not able to fix up the right one. Now tell me, when you talk in your native language, in your mother tongue, Hindi and Punjabi, do you ever think of tenses? Do you really think that shall I talk in present tense or shall I talk in future or past tense? No. The language comes very naturally to us. Why? Because we have been using this language. We have a habit of using that language in a right way. Now, same thing happens in English. Now, when you're talking about tenses, just using present tense or future tense and past tense will not fix it right. Is not going to fix your grammar problem. Grammar is much more than that. You need to use a good combination of a simple sentence and the complex sentence. If I keep talking in a very simple and easy language, that is of course not going to impress the other person we are talking to, especially for the test takers. You really need to keep in mind that you need to have a good combination of complex and the simple sentence. The second thing which helps you improving on your writing and speaking is vocabulary. When I was a child, I every day sat back with a notebook and dictionary in my hand and tried finding good words and remembering that and cramming them. And I'm sure most of us must be doing that. But what is the use of doing it until we use that in our actual expression? Now think, are we able to use that? Do we know the appropriate usage of the word we are learning and cramming every day? The word won't register in the dictionary of your mind until you use them once, twice, thrice in your expression. Yes, so do not make a list of huge and heavy words. Just try to work on synonyms, have idiomatic expressions, and also try to explain yourself with quotations. You can use some quotes in writing and speaking too. I have seen many students using big and heavy words. And believe me, the examiners and the listeners are just sitting back with the dictionaries. No one in the world is aware of all the words, isn't it? So there is no use of using big and heavy words. If I say, your work is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, did you understand that? No, you might have not even heard of this word. If you Google the word, you'll find the meaning is wonderful. So I could better say your work is wonderful instead of saying supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So if we use such words, it's not actually going to leave good impression, it's going to leave bad impression on the examiner. So instead of making a huge list of the words, start using them in the expression, knowing whether the word is pronoun, a noun, or a verb. Because if you know the right part of speech, you'll be able to use that word correctly in your sentence. Now is coherence. Now, you're supposed to give a presentation or maybe a talk, or maybe you are a test taker and you're writing IELTS exam and you went for your speaking. And what happens? You are nervous. Even in a presentation or debate or a group discussion, usually people get nervous. So their ideas go off track. You are unable to relate the idea to the topic. Now what happens if you start talking about something, you start talking about the main topic, and out of topic you draw another idea, then out of another idea you drew the third one, but you are not able to relate the second and the third idea with the first one. I'll give you an example for speaking. One of my students went to write an exam for IELTS, and it was the speaking task for the student, and the topic was talk about your favorite restaurant. The student took 1 minute to think on the topic and had all the nice plan on the paper, but when actually student started speaking, he said, the restaurant I went to was ABC and I ordered some food there. When I went in, I saw the manager. He did not wish me. He wasn't even wearing a nice dress. He did not tie the laces of his shoe. His shoes were not polished. He was looking a shabby guy. They should not appoint such people as manager in the restaurant. Then my food came and I enjoyed my food and I came back with my friends. Now, do you think this is the right expression to talk? This wasn't the material, the content which was expected from him. He was supposed to talk about a restaurant, not about the manager. Now, do you get me what I'm trying to explain? This is called coherence. When you are just addressing an audience, they expect something from you. The content which is expected, he was supposed to speak on a restaurant, not on the manager, not on the person. So particularly he had to talk about the whole building, maybe their service, the sitting arrangement, the food. He could talk many things, but he just missed on those important parts. So even if you are giving a presentation, make sure that you just try to relate to what you are supposed to speak on. Don't forget the topic, don't miss the topic, just try to remain on the topic. Now same problem happens in our writing. When we start writing, especially about essay writing, we draw one idea out of the first paragraph, second idea out of the second paragraph, the third idea out of the third paragraph. So this way a topic keeps going on track with the paragraph, but if we individually read the third paragraph and the fourth paragraph, that does not relate to the main topic. In every paragraph, we should mention something about the main topics. The fourth problem what people come across is ideas. How is it possible that we don't get ideas about topic? My students usually complain, ma'am, I wanted to speak a lot, but I wasn't getting idea about the topic. Now again, if we start talking about the same topic in Hindi and Punjabi language, in our native language, we'll get ample of ideas, or maybe people would just run to stop you. The time limit would be over. So that usually happens in the language what we are not proficient in. So we are not really comfortable talking in English language. So we tend to be nervous. So nervousness takes away all the ideas and strength we have. So what you should do, try to make yourself comfortable. Read newspaper every day. That is going to give you more ideas about writing and speaking. If you read one article, now even articles, when you are just trying to read article, we are just trying to find the content of our interest. Especially for the test takers, when you go to write an exam, are all topics of your interest? No, they are not. They are taken from newspaper and journals, and they are for everyone. They are not particularly for you. So there might be some topics which are of your interest and non-interest. So you should be reading at least one article which is either of your interest. Even if you are not interested in reading that, try to read that and try to take some ideas, grammar and vocabulary out of that. If you do this practice regularly, it is going to help you generating more ideas. Last but not least is the presentation. Let's say you go to a hotel and order some food. If the food is not presented nicely, you won't really enjoy eating that. So same happens when you go to address an audience, they have some expectations from you. When you go for an interview, the interviewer has an expectation from you. And the test takers who are going to write IELTS exam, the examiner expects you to be confident and good. So make sure you dress up nicely on the day of exam or on the day of your speech. Most of the people try to dress up in the dress, they feel more confident. If you have an attire that makes you feel more comfortable and confident, you go for that. Make eye contact with the audience. Make eye contact with an examiner. And remember, first impression is the last impression. When you greet them, the way you greet them, whether it's audience or examiner, they will judge whether you're nervous or you're confident. So try to be confident, do some meditation sometime 5 minutes before your speech, 5 minutes before your exam. That will help you to concentrate better and present yourself better. So I'm sure if you follow all these 5 things, they will have really good impact on your speaking and writing. So keep practicing, keep following the videos. See you again. Bye.